on coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Today on Good Morning Maine, the man accused of killing a woman in Bangor was brought back to Maine to face murder charges.
Plus, the University of New England held a mock mass casualty incident to make sure students are ready if the real thing ever happens.
And the Alzheimer's Walk turned the River Walk in Bangor purple on Saturday, raising over $65,000 for charity. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us on this Monday morning. We'll have those stories and a lot more coming up. It was a busy weekend with all kinds of walks and festivals, that kind of thing. We'll also have the latest on Hurricane Helene, just devastating to the states where that affected down there. Dozens already reported killed and the damage just unthinkable, unimaginable.
Yeah, over 95 killed across 6 states. It wiped out entire towns. Like you said, we'll have more on that later on. But to start off this morning, it looks like we have a beautiful Monday morning.
Sunny weather today, sunny weather tomorrow.
Yeah. Here's Conrad Sapinski with that forecast.
Our first weather this morning is brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, folks, happy Monday, beginning of the work week, right? Temperatures back in the 40s and 50s in some spots. We're looking at 51 degrees here in town. Right up north, Greenville's at 54. Millinocket area, not too far off, only back in those mid to upper 40s, so a little bit more of a cooler start. But overall, though, just a few passing clouds here and there. We're going to continue to see an abundance amount of sunshine out there later on this afternoon. Same story into the day on Tuesday. So, folks, get ready and get those shades prepared. Lots of sunshine is in store for us. Now, visibility-wise, though, not bad here in town. Right out the coast, Bar Harbor, not bad. But then you go just west, Waterville area, Augusta, and even into Rockland, we're looking at low visibilities, close to 0 in some spots. Of course, the winds are very calm. We are looking at mainly Rockland, maybe into the Greenville area where just a 5-6 mile per hour breeze is in the area. Other than that, pretty calm all over the state. For today, though, we're looking at lots of sunshine, mild temperatures. Look at this, mid 70s outside, just a light breeze once again. Out of the north. For tonight, though, a light breeze once again, clear skies, areas of patchy fog. Temperatures right around those mid to upper 40s, so we'll be a little bit cooler than today. Now for tomorrow, though, we're looking at upper 60s, lots of sunshine in the area once again, so slightly cooler. Our hour-by-hour forecast does show that warm up on the way for today, with temperatures back in those mid 70s and lots of sunshine.
Thank you, Conrad. We'll have another look at that 5-day a little later on. Well, a man accused of murdering a woman in Bangor was returned to Maine over the weekend. 42-year-old Richard Thorpe is accused of killing his former girlfriend last week before fleeing to Massachusetts. He's expected to make his first court appearance this week to face murder charges. David Ledford has more.
39-year-old Virginia Cookson was found dead inside of a Larkin Street residence in Bangor on Wednesday. As a result of an investigation, authorities issued an arrest warrant for Cookson's ex-boyfriend, 42-year-old Richard Keith Thorpe of Bangor, in connection with her murder. Thorpe was arrested early Friday morning in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, by the local police department following a vehicle pursuit.
They got called to an accident, and apparently the car that he was driving was there. Then they got a call for a stolen vehicle, found the vehicle, there was a chase, and they ended up taking him into custody. They didn't know who he was at the time or why he was there. Neither the victim or the suspect have ties to that area.
According to Department of Corrections records, Thorpe has a criminal history, including a sentence for robbery in 2012. Police say Thorpe has waived extradition and will be returned to Bangor as soon as possible, and the Attorney General's office plans to charge him with depraved indifference murder.
Autopsy results from the medical examiner's office determining her death as a homicide.
The exact cause of death has not been released. However, police say no firearms were involved.
He's a convicted felon, so he wouldn't be allowed to possess a firearm. But there were no firearms involved in this case.
Bangor police confirmed they were also called to the Larkin Street residence over a week ago, but would not provide further details. In a Facebook post, a relative of Cookson wrote in part, quote, "She worked so hard to provide a good life for her daughter and herself. She was still so young with so much life left in her. It's not fair." A GoFundMe page has been set up to support Cookson's family, and a link to that page can be found on our website. In Bangor, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, state police are investigating a homicide in Biddeford after a man was found shot to death on Friday night. According to a spokesperson for the Maine State Police, it was just before 11 p.m. The Biddeford Police Department received a call about shots fired on Foss Street. Police say first responders arrived to find an injured male who was later identified as 46-year-old Gene Dares of Biddeford. Dares was pronounced dead at the scene and later transported to the medical examiner's office, which determined that he had been shot to death. The incident was ruled a homicide, though police say there are no known specific threats to the public. No other information is being released at this time as the incident remains under investigation.
A Unity man accused of threatening someone with a gun has been indicted by the Waldo County grand jury. In August, Maine State Police got a call from a man claiming he'd been approached and threatened by another man with a gun at Unity Raceway. The person was identified as 30-year-old Joshua Littlefield. Troopers went to Littlefield's home along with a tactical team and a crisis negotiation team. Littlefield was taken to the hospital for evaluation. The grand jury indicted him on charges of criminal threatening and terrorizing with a dangerous weapon.
Well, one person is dead following a tractor-trailer rollover crash in West Forks. The Somerset County Sheriff's Office says they responded to a single-vehicle tractor-trailer crash on Route 201 just after 3 p.m. Friday afternoon. An initial investigation revealed a fully loaded tractor-trailer hauling tree-length logs was heading southbound near the Pierce Road intersection when it went off the road and struck several trees. The driver of the vehicle, 60-year-old Leland Moore of Madison, was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities say Moore was reportedly not wearing his seatbelt at the time. The cause of the crash is under investigation.
As the one-year mark of the Lewiston mass shooting approaches, the University of New England is helping the community become even more prepared should an event like that ever happen again. Saturday, the university held a mock mass casualty incident. Over 80 students signed up to participate in the simulation. And the chief of surgery from Central Maine Health attended and spoke about the lessons learned from last October.
Our goal is to have our students aware of the resources available to them and how to address these types of instances where patients outnumber resources and how to consider the needs of each scenario.
It can also include a single vehicle rollover when you have an ambulance with 4 patients and you are in rural Maine and only one ambulance within 30 minutes away. That counts as a mass casualty incident because you only have 2 providers that can trying to take care of 4 patients.
Last month, Governor Mills responded to the Lewiston Commission's final report, calling the tragedy a colossal failure of human judgment.
Well, help is on the way for the communities left devastated by Hurricane Helene. Central Maine Power says it's among the companies sending crews south to assist with the restoration effort. It's sending 50 people to Virginia after the storms left millions without power. They'll be joining 50 other crews from CMP's parent company, which are also traveling south from New England. The Red Cross is also sending about a dozen volunteers from Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont to join the army of Red Cross workers taking part in that massive relief response. The storm is already blamed for killing dozens of people and wiping out entire communities. We'll have much more on the aftermath and what's being done to help the victims a little later on in the broadcast. Just horrible what's going on down there.
Devastating. It absolutely wiped out Chimney Rock in western North Carolina, and of course it affected all sorts of states, but western North Carolina was absolutely decimated.
Yeah, and it continues right on up through Georgia too. They got touched by the storm too.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even along the coast, that's the thing.
It didn't come in from North Carolina. My friend is in Wilmington, North Carolina, and she says, which is southern North Carolina, and she said we were fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of worked its way up through the states and came from the west.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 8:09. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the 3rd annual Recovery Palooza took place over the weekend, celebrating the sobriety and people who are in recovery.
We'll have the story coming up, but first another check of that weather forecast. A beautiful sunny day on the way for us today, mostly sunny with highs near 73 degrees. Mostly clear, you might see a little fog out there too tonight. Lows dropping down to the upper 40s. Tomorrow, another sunny one for your Tuesday with highs near 69 degrees. We'll be right back.
Comfy, cozy, relaxing. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find rockers, recliners, sofas, and easy chairs. Quality furniture, affordable prices. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
When Angus got elected, he said he wanted to stand up for Maine's veterans. He wanted to give back to those that served, and I believe he's done that time and time again, year after year. From healthcare access to burn pit exposure, as well as housing, he's helped veterans every step of the way. I can't think of a better person to go back to Washington, D.C. and fight for us. And I can't be more proud to support this fine gentleman. I'm Travis Mills.
And I'm Angus King, and I'm proud to approve this message.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
Fortunately, my accident wasn't that bad, but I called the Twos and Lowry & Associates still got me $20,000.
My husband was in a very serious accident and needed back surgery. We called the Twos and Lowry & Associates got him $450,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
Call 222-2222. Durable, sturdy, stylish. Not Joe. Joe's Furniture. Joe's Furniture Warehouse in Newport is the place to find solid wood, built to last, made in Maine dressers, bureaus, and nightstands. Not your average Joe. Joe's Furniture Warehouse, Grogan Avenue in Newport.
25 words or less.
Patterned room.
Wallpaper. We have 30,000 ways to thank our loyal fans.
I love watching people win money that's not mine.
Win one of 3 $10,000 cash prizes.
Courtroom leader. The judge.
By watching from home and scanning our QR code.
You just won the game, guys!
It's the 30K Thanks a Rama giveaway.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Hundreds of community members gathered at Broadway Park to take part in the 6th annual St. Joe's Commit to Community fundraiser and run. Organizers say this was one of their most successful years yet. Our Grace Blanchard takes us to the finish line to learn more.
Nearly 700 Mainers signed up for this year's Commit to Community 5 and 10K run, organized by St. Joseph Healthcare.
This is a small community, this is a small state, and events like this really make you feel like you're part of something wonderful.
Previously known as St. Joe's Commit to Get Fit, the race supports the hospital's Sexual Assault Forensic Examiner program, also known as the SAFE program, which provides support to victims of violence and abuse.
These are amazing nurses. They provide care for people who are victims of rape. They provide care for people who've just been harmed in some other way. And they're there 24/7 for the community.
Community advocates say the specialized training and support the SAFE program provides is a vital resource for survivors of abuse.
They really are, leaders in the state in the work that they do, so we're so glad to be in the same community and work with them.
The event raised over $200,000, which is around a $40,000 increase from last year.
It warms my heart to see how much people want to support this hospital. We're a community hospital, so really we depend on the community, and you guys really turned out for it today.
To learn more about resources for survivors and how to support the cause, visit our website, foxbangor.com. In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Hundreds got together in Bangor as well on Saturday to celebrate recovery from substance use disorder. Our Kelly Warren takes us to the 3rd annual Recovery Palooza.
It's really great to see the recovery community coming together.
Hundreds of Mainers joined in on the 3rd annual Recovery Palooza on Saturday. The event helps uplift and support those with substance use disorder, whether they're in active use or in recovery, and connect them with resources for harm reduction and recovery assistance.
People want to gather here, enjoy a nice free meal, enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy each other's company, meet new associations, and just be connected in solidarity.
Community leaders say investing in recovery initiatives is important.
I think that our region has done a really great job. All the partners have done an amazing job having a recovery-ready community.
Bangor, our city council has been very much investing in recovery over the last year. We've spent over $3 million providing grants to actually many of the organizations we see behind us here today.
Organizers say the event helps to stop stigma and spread awareness around drug use.
Showing and demonstrating what the resources are, people can see what's available to them,
but it also does a lot to overcome stigma.
According to the Maine Drug Data Hub, around 8.5% of Mainers over the age of 12 have substance use disorder. Data from earlier this year shows there have been almost 5,000 non-fatal overdoses this year and 302 fatal overdoses. However, overdose deaths dropped 16% in 2023 compared to 2022.
Folks in recovery are just like you. They're your neighbors, your sons, brothers, uncles, fathers, people who serve you your coffee.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, the Bangor waterfront was a sea of purple on Saturday as well, as hundreds took part in the Walk to End Alzheimer's, raising over $65,000. The walk raises money for care and research for those affected by Alzheimer's and other dementias. Statistics from the Alzheimer's Association's Maine chapter shows that 10% of Maine seniors have Alzheimer's disease.
This means everything. We are raising awareness every single day with every dollar raised. So this means hope to me.
Around 300 people participated in that walk, including people living with Alzheimer's, their loved ones, and those who are walking in honor of someone who has passed away.
My mom had Alzheimer's. I just lost her in July. It really can affect anyone at any time. Just do what you can.
Well, if you missed the walk but would still like to donate, you can visit the information. You can find the information on our website, foxbangor.com.
They had a great turnout.
Yeah.
All right, the time now is 8:16. After the break, Hurricane Helene hammered the southeast over the weekend, leaving death and destruction in its wake.
We'll take you there, take you to the ground, as Good Morning Maine continues.
I'm a Republican.
I'm a Republican.
A Maine Republican.
Not one of those Washington Republicans like Mike Johnson.
They want to slash Social Security and Medicare.
And raise the retirement age to 70.
They handpicked Austin Terrio to run for Congress.
And they'll control him in Washington.
But Jared Golden works for us.
Jared will stand up to both parties to protect Maine seniors.
We can trust Jared. He fights for us.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
People ask me all the time, are those commercials really true? Does Lowry & Associates really get all of those clients, all of those big settlements? Yes, we do. We really have gotten millions of dollars for Mainers hurt by commercial vehicles. And the insurance companies know when you call the twos, we're gonna fight for you. And you know what else is true? I really am standing on top of this big truck.
Hurt by a big truck? Call the twos. We win for you.
It's another exciting year of high school football in the state of Maine. Get out and support your home team and be looking for the ABC 7 Sports Blitz crew. You can get a free Sports Blitz t-shirt, then watch Sports Blitz during ABC 7 News at 11 every Friday night during the football season. Blitz shirts courtesy of
207 Collectibles, Coastal Auto Parts, Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company, Mount Desert Spring Water, Patriot Homes, Pet Care by Lindsay, and Ray Plumbing and Heating.
At least 90 people have been killed across 6 states after Hurricane Helene slammed into the southeast. The governor of North Carolina calls the crisis in his state an unprecedented tragedy.
ABC's Perry Russum has the latest from Washington.
This morning, rescue teams in North Carolina searching for the missing.
People are desperate for help, and we are pushing to get it to them.
41 people rescued in one mission north of Asheville.
We also rescued an infant, and were able to take that infant directly to the hospital for care.
In parts of the city, the flood water has yet to recede. Where it has, washed out roads and mud remains. There is no cell service.
the men came out to our neighborhood. They said we're not going to have electricity for another 2 to 3 days.
In Tennessee, Governor Bill Lee surveying the damage from a helicopter over the weekend, finding homes and buildings washed away. Yesterday in Perry, Florida, one of the first cities hit by Helene, they are praying for relief. President Biden says his FEMA advisors are on the ground in Florida.
Any more resources the federal government could be giving them?
No, we've given them, we have pre-planned a significant amount of it, even though they didn't ask for it yet.
The White House says President Biden intends to travel to the hurricane zone this week when it does not interfere with recovery efforts. Biden has approved federal resources to help the states with those efforts. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Boy, the videos coming out of those areas over the weekend, just incredible. I saw one where there was a hospital where the water was almost up to the roof. People were on the roof being evacuated. Same thing in other communities. Houses right up to the edge of the rooftops in areas that usually don't have to deal with any flooding or that kind of thing.
Right.
Really historic stuff going on down there.
Western North Carolina is very far inland, hours inland. And the city of Ashland, I mean, Chimney Rock, completely washed away. Cities in Appalachia, these are working class communities, so they have a long road ahead of them.
It's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
As far as our weather's concerned, you know, almost feel guilty a little bit. It's going to be wonderful.
It's a beautiful start to the
days.
week. Yeah. Here's Conrad Sipinski with that forecast.
Our main weather this morning is brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, folks, it's Monday. Let's go set those goals for the week. And guess what? Of course, go out there and achieve it. Now, temperature-wise, though, a little bit of blue going on the last several days. Temperatures were slightly cooler than average, but the last 3 days, whoop, right back up into the above average territory, where our average is right around 65 degrees, and we're going to continue that warmer trend today into the day tomorrow. Once again, a little bit cooler, maybe a few degrees below average on Wednesday, right back up into near 70, maybe even low 70s in some spots on Friday. By the weekend, does look like slightly cooler temperatures will be back in our area, low to mid 60s, that will be closer to average. Now look at this. This is what's left over from that Hurricane Helene, still producing a little bit of rainfall closer to Washington, D.C., of course, post-tropical. We're not looking at anything severe, just some leftover showers in some spots. But, of course, that cleanup continues all over the regions down south. Florida, of course, had that Category 4 hurricane that hit Thursday evening. Now, for our area, though, not much going on. Just a couple of passing clouds here and there. New York City, you're looking at a little bit more thicker clouds in your area. And, of course, maybe even a few sprinkles into Jersey and some spots in Pennsylvania. Now, for our area, speaking of sprinkles, we're probably going to get a few sprinkles out there for Wednesday time frame. But overall, though, as you can see, that little drier pocket there, it does look like a few sprinkles are, of course, possible. Otherwise, though, we're not looking at any big rain events anytime soon, at least the next 5 days. And of course, those dew points will be low as well. Pretty comfortable. Right in time, maybe Friday, Saturday, we are looking at higher dew points, but overall, those still sticking around. Not too much on that muggy end, still going to be a bit more comfortable. Now, for today, though, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures well above average, around 10 degrees above average, around 74 degrees out there for today. For tonight, though, mid to upper 40s, clear skies. Yes, we are looking at patchy fog. Once again in the forecast, just a light breeze. Now for tomorrow, though, upper 60s, lots of sunshine in the area once again, just a light breeze in the forecast. Now our extended forecast outlook does show a little bit of a cooler day out there for Wednesday. A few sprinkles are possible, warming back up into those upper 60s to lower 70s Thursday and Friday.
Whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or any commercial vehicle, we know how to get you the big money you may deserve.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you.
The past few years have been challenging for law enforcement, but one thing we've never had to worry about is whether Jared Golden will watch our backs in Washington. Jared isn't afraid to stand up to his own party to keep Mainers safe, voting for billions of dollars for state and local law enforcement and to secure the border. Austin Terrio is something else. He voted against millions of dollars for the state police because the budget came from the other party. We need leaders who put public safety first, and that's Jared Golden.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
The
best value, go with the longest lasting brand, Toyota. And at the Toyota Best Value event, you could get $4.99 for $60 on the all-new all-wheel drive Camry Hybrid with elevated design and technology. Plus, get 2 years no-cost maintenance.
The longest lasting brand.
So for a vehicle with long-lasting value, see your New England Toyota dealer, your all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
Future-proof your home and garden with AARP today. Harvest the rewards for years to come. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP.
Did you know there's a detergent that gets your dishes up to 100% clean, even in an older dishwasher? Try Cascade Platinum Plus for sparkling clean dishes, even on the toughest jobs. Just scrape, load, and you're done. Switch to Cascade Platinum Plus.
The KG in Medway and Millinocket, your place for pizza, where our dough is hand-stretched. Did you say meats? All cut, fresh in Medway. Famous KG subs, to-go meals, homemade desserts, and we serve Carabasset coffee. The KG, much more than just a store.
The U.S. and its allies are seeking to avoid an all-out war in the Middle East as Israeli airstrikes on Sunday killed dozens in Lebanon and Yemen. Iran condemns this latest strike. The Israeli leaders hint that they could hit Iran as well. Over the weekend, new airstrikes into Yemen at the Houthi-controlled port of Hodeidah. Israeli jets also struck a power plant in the town of Ras Isa. This after 2 days in which Israel was the target of ballistic missiles fired from Yemen, which were all intercepted. And early this morning in Lebanon, the first apparent Israeli airstrike on central Beirut in nearly a year of conflict. It leveled an apartment building. The IDF says 20 Hezbollah operatives were killed alongside their leader, Hassan Nasrallah, in Lebanon. All of this while combat continues in the Gaza Strip as well. Yesterday, President Biden said he would call Benjamin Netanyahu to prevent an all-out war.
36 days to go to Election Day. Both candidates are hitting up battleground states to get out the vote while their running mates prepare for their first and only debate. Both candidates' running mates are gearing up for the vice presidential debate Tuesday night in New York. Historically, the VP debate doesn't do much to change the minds of voters, and it may be in the best interests of both men to simply avoid any major gaffes. An AP poll released last week shows Tim Walz is viewed more positively by voters than J.D. Vance. Republicans say Vance just needs to stick to the issues. Right now, there are no more debates scheduled between Trump and Harris, with just 5 weeks to go to Election Day.
Well, thinking about designer duds or sporting our outdoor equipment for Christmas gifts, you may need to get your gears in motion fast if a shipping strike happens. Retail industry watchers say if an East Coast dock workers strike happens, some Christmas discretionary items like luxury gifts and recreational goods could be affected and become in short supply. The disruptions in shipping and supply chains may also drive up retail prices. Many retailers already have contingency plans, but a long strike could prevent minimizing effects. Retail goods price hikes could also hit in the first quarter of 2025 if a strike does happen. You may want to get out there and do your shopping now.
They are voting on that very soon. I can't remember if it's tonight. I believe it may be. But yeah, we'll know if it's going to happen very soon.
Yeah, oh boy.
Yep. All right, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll have another segment of everyone's favorite part of Monday, Market Watch Mondays.
We'll check out those Facebook finds when we come back.
Commercial vehicles can be dangerous, and they usually carry big insurance policies. So whether you're hurt by a landscaping truck like this, a work van like this, or a big rig like this, we know commercial vehicle accidents, and we know how to get you the big money you may deserve. If any commercial vehicle hurts you, call the twos. We win for you.
Hurt by a commercial vehicle? Call the twos. We win for you. Call 222-2222.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes and More has a team of experts trained in pet orthotics to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or for the hard-to-fit foot. With fashionable and functional footwear from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Teva, Taos, Ufus, and Birkenstocks. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
And welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Monday, September 30th, 2024, the final day of September.
And today is National Podcast Day, a marriage between the words iPod and broadcasting. The word podcast was born. And while the use of the iPod is much more rare now, the namesake of the media is here to stay. You can listen to hundreds of thousands of podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. And there's really something for everyone. Even some podcasts are just live radio broadcasts that they just take and they digitize it and they put it on one of those apps that you can listen to. I know one of my news podcasts is just that. It's just live broadcasted and they record it and put it on Apple Podcasts.
Seems to be like the new way of getting information out there. One of the new ways anyway.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Time for history. On this day in history, back in 1954, the USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered vessel, was commissioned by the U.S. Navy. In 1955, American actor James Dean, who became a symbol of the confused, restless, and idealistic youth of the 1950s, died in an automobile crash. In 1960, The Flintstones, the first animated sitcom created by Hanna-Barbera, premiered on ABC.
Beloved by generations.
I love Flintstones.
Yeah, they're good. In 1962, JFK sent 3,000 federal troops to the University of Mississippi to quell riots protesting desegregation. And in 2004, the first images of a live giant squid in its natural habitat were taken 600 miles south of Tokyo. So, you know, open ocean.
Yeah.
Where it's not going to come across to anybody, maybe a fishing boat.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Luckily, I think they stay down pretty deep.
Right.
So.
But still, I don't want to know about that.
Yeah, we don't want to know about a lot of things in the ocean.
Yeah.
If you're swimming in it. Anyway.
Right. The ocean is a scary place. And in 2018, the New York Yankees suffered a 10-2 beating at the Boston Red Sox Fenway Park, but still accumulated an MLB record of 267 home runs for the season. And in 2019, a 315 billion ton iceberg named D28 broke away from the Amory Ice Shelf in Antarctica.
Not good news at all. Well, for birthdays today, they include actress Monica Bellucci, who is 60 years old today. You might recognize her from The Matrix and several other movies. Trey Anastasio from the band Fish is also 60. And Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch, is now 70 years old. It's hard to believe those kids from the Brady Bunch are heading up into their 70s now.
Oh.
I'm right behind them, another 10 years or so.
Yeah, a couple of round numbers, 60, 60, and 70.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to them. And it looks like we have a beautiful start to the week ahead of us.
Yeah, it's going to be great fall weather. It feels more like summer, really. It's going to be up in the 70s today.
Yeah,
you know,
really though.
Nice day.
Here's Conrad Sapinski with that forecast.
Our first weather this morning is brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, folks, happy Monday, beginning of the work week, right? Temperatures back in the 40s and 50s in some spots. We're looking at 51 degrees here in town. Right up north, Greenville's at 54. Millinocket area, not too far off, only back in those mid to upper 40s, so a little bit more of a cooler start. But overall, though, just a few passing clouds here and there. We're going to continue to see an abundant amount of sunshine out there later on this afternoon. Same story into the day on Tuesday. So, folks, get ready and get those shades prepared. Lots of sunshine is in store for us. Now, visibility-wise, though, not bad here in town. Right out the coast, Bar Harbor, not bad. But then you go just west, Waterville area, Augusta, and even into Rockland, we're looking at low visibilities, close to zero in some spots. Of course, the winds are very calm. We are looking at mainly Rockland, maybe into the Greenville area where just a 5-6 mile per hour breeze is in the area. Other than that, pretty calm all over the state. For today, though, we're looking at lots of sunshine, mild temperatures. Look at this, mid 70s outside, just a light breeze once again. Out of the north for tonight, though, a light breeze once again, clear skies, areas of patchy fog. Temperatures right around those mid to upper 40s, so we'll be a little bit cooler than today. Now for tomorrow, though, we're looking at upper 60s, lots of sunshine in the area once again, so slightly cooler. Our hour-by-hour forecast does show that warm up on the way for today, with temperatures back in those mid 70s and lots of sunshine.
All right, now it's time for Market Watch Mondays when we check out locally found Facebook Marketplace finds.
Never know what you're going to find on the marketplace.
I know, let's dive right in. What's first? Okay, a fire department retro pedal truck engine. Wow.
Those are cool.
A retro kid's toy. Looks like it's in fantastic condition. That's why it's $325. So this could be a collector's item or it could be for a child. That is a very cool toy right there. Wow, is there pedals? How does it move?
I think it has pedals, yeah. It's a
wow.
pedal truck. We had one that was like a little airplane for my daughter when she was little.
Yep.
They're made out of metal just like they used to. They're kind of neat. They're pretty sturdy too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It looks like a fresh paint job.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, let's move on to the next one. See what we've got there. 4-in-1 kids game table. Oh, I've seen these before.
For $75 in Canaan. Oh, this is cool. So if you don't want to get a pool table and have that all the time, it kind of looks like a mini. Am I crazy?
Yeah, they're smaller.
Yeah.
They're not like a full size.
Right.
But a lot of times they'll even have air hockey, and you can, you know, just depends on what.
There you go. I
Depends
love air hockey. I love all of these things. I'm not very good at foosball though, so of course that's quite frustrating for me.
They're smaller too, so it won't take as much room up in your basement or whatever. So.
Right. Maybe it looks like somebody grew out of theirs, or they don't have space for it anymore. $75. That's a steal, and that would, I know, with the what's the shipping issue right now? I'm already thinking about Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
This would make a great gift for somebody if you could manage to hide it for until December.
All right, moving on to the next one now. What is it? Extreme Inflatable Challenge Course.
Oh, this looks fun. For $3,800 in Portland, you can really challenge your family members at the next family reunion. Wow.
It's one of those big, oh wow,
gosh.
look at that thing. I was going to say you could put it out in the backyard, but
$3,800.
you're going to need maybe set it up in Broadway Park or something.
You're going to need an industrial size inflator thing.
That's
air
neat.
Thingy.
Maybe that'd be a neat thing for a school or something.
Yeah.
Come up with something.
It sounds like a liability.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right, I think we have one more to show you this morning. A handmade fish, a 20-foot handmade fish.
$10,000 20-foot handmade fish. Well, this is a art installation. This is beautiful, and it's on some wheels too. Wow, that's stunning. I bet it would create some very pretty shadows.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Locally sourced handmade art.
You got some 10 grand and you're burning a hole in your pocket trying to find something to do with it?
Handmade fish in Auburn. Yep.
Hook it on the back of your pickup truck, drive around town with it.
Yeah.
You know, why
you
not?
could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's your fish.
That is definitely very unique. I have not seen something like that on the marketplace before.
Beautiful. Yeah, if you have a very fancy garden. I think it sounds lovely. Cool. Okay, that looks like it's all for this morning. This is a weekly segment on Mondays.
Yeah, if you guys find anything interesting too, email it to us and we'll put it on the air.
The email we have for that is marketwatch@wvii.com. So if you see anything that you're selling and you want to give us some more information about it, or it's generally for odd, unusual, and interesting finds. So if you find anything, send us the link, preferable over a screenshot.
Yeah.
All right, right after the break, Tyler Cruz will have our sports updates.
Don't go away.
Washington politicians allowing lobstermen to struggle, not just with higher inflation or with more regulations. They're allowing Canada to lobster in our waters, decimating our lobster population, stealing natural resources from our next generation.
Washington lets Canada steal from our lobstermen. They play politics while Mainers paid the price. It's time we put people over politics. I'll hold Canada accountable and fight to protect our way of life. I'm Austin Terrio, and I approve this message.
Central Maine Barns and Sheds, quality products built right here in Newport with a strong attention to detail. We have an incredible selection of pre-made options and would be more than happy to custom build a unit specifically for you. Central Maine Barns and Sheds has financing options available, including a rent-to-own program. We provide free delivery and setup within a 30-mile radius of any of our locations. Check out our full inventory at centralmainbarns.com or call for more information. 368-6177.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. Our Stable Lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
Backed by popular demand, the Lucerne Inn in Dedham presents its amazing Sunday brunch. Join us every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for a culinary experience like no other. Indulge in an exquisite selection of dishes, all while enjoying breathtaking views. Seating is limited, so reservations are recommended, but walk-ins are always welcome. The Lucerne Inn Sunday Brunch, where great food meets a spectacular view. Call today to reserve your spot.
This is a job you have to put your heart into.
Getting dangerous.
Welcome to the North Shore.
Rescue High Surf, all new tonight on Fox.
Welcome back in, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. Busy weekend for sports. We'll start on the football field, kicking it off with the Patriots out west trying to take down the San Francisco 49ers. Pats down 6-0 in the first. Jacoby Brissett dropping back to pass, looking over the middle, and Fred Warner leaps up and makes the interception. He's untouched too, so he gets up and gets moving, gets to the sideline, and he won't be denied all the way into the end zone for the pick six. Niners lead 13-0. Same score next drive. Brock Purdy looking end zone, and look at this catch from George Kittle. I don't know if the Patriots could have any more guys on him there. 20-0 San Fran. Some life for New England, though, right out of the half. Special teams, baby. They force a fumble and on that kick return, and that is going to give them great field position. Little scrum for the ball here, but the referees say Patriots possession. So on the goal line, Brissett fakes the handoff to Ramondre Stevenson and finds Austin Hooper. And the Pats convert on the San Fran mistake. It's 20-10 now, but it's the only touchdown they would score. And the Niners go on to win big, 30-13. Staying on the gridiron now, and maybe some positive news here. The Maine Black Bears on the road this weekend, taking on the 21st-ranked Albany Great Danes, looking for their second straight victory. Second quarter, Maine down 7-3. Carter Peavy takes the snap, gives to Jahari Martin, and he slides in for the touchdown to put Maine up by 3. To the third quarter now, Maine down 1. Peavy fakes the give to Martin, rolls out, and hits a wide-open Cooper Heisey, the tight end, for the touchdown. Maine takes the lead again. The 2-point was no good. We move to the fourth quarter. Peavy again fakes the give to Martin, again rolls out, and he gets Heisey again, puts Maine up 25-14. Here they are going for 2 again this time, and check this play out. Remember this one. Montego Moss gets it. He spins here and heaves it to the back of the end zone, and that one is caught by Joe Gillette. Maine up 2 scores, 27-20, or 27-14, 27-20 now. Albany one last chance. Look at Jamari Gibson picking off the long pass, and grab your inhaler. He is chugging his way down the sideline. He goes all the way. A pick six with under 2 minutes to play seals it. Maine wins 34-20. All right, let's go back to that Montego Moss throw on the 2-point conversion. I don't know if anyone saw this on ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown on Sunday morning, but it was the best thing I've seen all day. A real cool exchange between Mike Greenberg and Randy Moss, Montego's father, and I'll preface it with this. The apple doesn't typically fall too far from the tree.
And last night, something very special happened. So let's take you back in time. Here we go! Who remembers this play? Randy Moss on the reverse. Throwing a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to my teammate, Dwayne.
Randy, what are we seeing right here?
Man, shout out to the Maine Black Bears, man. That's my son, Montego Moss, man. With the same reverse to spin on the defensive end. No! Another shout out, man, to the Maine Black Bears, man, going on the road against the University of Albany, man. It's a great win yesterday, but right there, Greeny. That's insane.
It's an awesome moment right there. Let's stay with the University of Maine now. Maine women's soccer in action. They are a few states over, taking on the University of Vermont in Catamount country. Picking it up halfway through the first, Vermont has it. Kate Bossert finds Aubrey Bowe. She fires this one from way downtown and scores top shelf. That puts UVM up 1-0 in the first half. Beginning of the second, Cats on a corner. This is going to go off of a Maine player and in, and that puts Vermont up 2-0 with just about 30 minutes remaining. But here's where Maine came roaring back. Just a minute later, Tegan Morrison gives to Julie Losius, and she is in great position after that ball, fires and cuts the lead in half. 7 minutes left now. Morrison off the corner. That finds Christina Kelly, who fires, and Maine is alive. They tie it with time winding down with about 7 minutes left. Here we go now, under 3 minutes. Vermont's goalie trying to get it out, but she doesn't see Jordan Panette, who pulls off the highway robbery and scores the game winner. Maine puts in 3 unanswered in the second half for a 3-2 victory. All right, and finally, if you looked at the record and the playoff standings, you probably thought there's no need to tune in to the Red Sox season finale on Sunday afternoon, but Red Sox Nation bid farewell to a legend in their 3-1 win over the Rays. The Red Sox and the city of Boston naming the day Joe Castiglione Day in honor of the 42-year Red Sox Hall of Fame radio broadcaster who called his last game at Fenway Park on Sunday afternoon. Castiglione has been with the team since 1983. He's called 4 World Series titles, some of the best moments of my life as a Red Sox fan, and after the game compared the feeling of calling his final out to calling the 2004 World Series.
So I was sort of numb. Sort of felt like the 9th inning in St. Louis in 04, like in a zone and no distractions. And then he kept fouling off pitch after pitch when we were hoping it would end. But I had some moments, especially when Alex brought the players out in the 7th inning, and when I saw these players come back, so many from long distances, dating back to my first Red Sox team in 1983.
For me and probably many Sox fans, when I hear Joe's voice, I go back to summer days as a kid playing wiffle ball or whatever in the backyard while my dad had the game going on the radio on the back porch. Just an incredible career and a ton of memories for a ton of people, including myself. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after this.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
The past few years have been challenging for law enforcement, but one thing we've never had to worry about is whether Jared Golden will watch our backs in Washington. Jared isn't afraid to stand up to his own party to keep Mainers safe, voting for billions of dollars for state and local law enforcement and to secure the border. Austin Terrio is something else. He voted against millions of dollars for the state police because the budget came from the other party. We need leaders who put public safety first, and that's Jared Golden.
I'm Jared Golden, and I approve this message.
Whether you have a $15,000 fender bender or a surgery case worth $1 million, call the Twos.
I walked away from my car accident with minor injuries, but I called the Twos and they still got me $23,000.
I needed multiple surgeries after my accident with a big truck. I called the Twos, and Lowry and Associates got me $700,000.
Big cases and small, we handle them all. Call us. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
You bought your Toyota because Toyota is the longest lasting brand. You put your trust in Toyota's reputation for quality. Now put your trust in Toyota-trained certified technicians who install genuine Toyota parts to help keep your Toyota a Toyota. Contact your New England Toyota dealer today to learn about affordable September service offers that feature genuine Toyota parts. Trust the experts at Toyota Service Centers and keep your Toyota a Toyota.
Meet Stacy at Sheer Haven in Bangor. Whether you're looking for a total transformation, want to try the newest trend, or just need an expert opinion on hairstyle, Stacy is up for the task. For 15 years with a passion for custom cuts and colors, Stacy makes getting your hair done the perfect experience from start to finish.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. I'm here with John McCann and Nick Bambrick. They are owner and general manager of Maniac Manor in Bangor. It's a haunted attraction. Guys, thank you very much for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So this is a haunted tour. Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, it's a haunted attraction. From year to year, we change the theming.
And you say tour, but it's actually self-guided. You go in on your own.
Okay.
And we keep the groups kind of small, so 4 to a group, and you make your way through the decrepit halls and find your way down.
Is stuff jumping out at you, or is that an option?
For our full scare, yes, there's like live actors. We have anywhere between 15 to 20 live actors. We do have animatronics, props that pop out at you.
Wow.
Lots of sights, sounds, and even smells.
Wow. Okay. So this is, it's every sense. Very cool. And what's the theme this year?
The theme is post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
Like armies tried to keep the zombies from invading, and the creatures have taken over.
Yeah. So this theme, I mean, you guys are constantly changing. This is not just a spooky season business. It's year-round. Can you talk about what that entails a little bit? That's a lot of work, it seems like.
Sure. So we usually do like the October season, which is the spooky season.
Yep.
The month of November, we transfer over to our Haunted Christmas, which it's very tight trying to get that accomplished.
Right.
And then we kind of have some downtime, and then usually when we get into summer, we do an 80s slasher.
Oh, that's a lot of fun. Wow. So also on your website, I saw that there's a no scare option. What's that about? What's that for?
Yeah, the no scare is all the lights and all the sights, but there's no live people jumping out at you.
Okay.
So if you're like into the details and you want to take your time walking, then that's the time to go. If you got kids who are scared, that's the time to go. It's still scary,
right?
But it's not full scare.
I think that's a great option. I went to Count Orlok's in Salem, Massachusetts recently, and that's a wax museum, so that may be a little bit similar to stuff like that. But I took plenty of time in there, and I was just looking at stuff up close because it's art, what you guys are doing, and for folks who like stuff like this, it's fascinating to observe.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. So you probably need to sign up for a certain time, right? Because you go in groups. Is that something?
Groups, yeah, you get there while we're open.
Yep.
And then that's it.
Oh,
you don't have to sign up for anything, just tickets. You can buy tickets on the door, you can buy tickets online.
Easy enough.
Easy, yeah.
Cool. Cool. What's pricing like? Just so we cover all the stops.
So if it's a no scare, it's $13 at the door.
Okay.
We are doing something special this year. It's a bracelet. It's $5 for that, but it gets you $3 off each ticket price for all the events that we have for a year.
Wow, that is a great deal. Cool.
So,
and a website, just to wrap up?
Yeah, maniacmanor.com.
Cool. Easy enough.
Easy enough. Yeah, it's Facebook Maniac Manor.
Yeah. Awesome to keep up with what you guys are doing and the changing themes and stuff
absolutely.
like that. All right, John, Nick, guys, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. We'll send it over to Conrad Zapinski for our full weather forecast.
Our main weather this morning is brought to you by SR1 Companies. Visit SR1 in Herman, Turner, Manchester, and Orono for the best prices on trailers, campers, tractors, heavy equipment, and more. SR1 Companies, where New England's largest selection meets unbeatable prices. All right, folks, it's Monday. Let's go set those goals for the week. And guess what? Of course, go out there and achieve it. Now, temperature-wise, though, a little bit of blue going on the last several days. Temperatures were slightly cooler than average, but the last 3 days, whoop, right back up into the above average territory, where our average is right around 65 degrees, and we're going to continue that warmer trend today into the day tomorrow. Once again, a little bit cooler, maybe a few degrees below average on Wednesday, right back up into near 70, maybe even low 70s in some spots on Friday. By the weekend, those look like slightly cooler temperatures will be back in our area, low to mid 60s, that will be closer to average. Now look at this. This is what's left over from that Hurricane Helene, still producing a little bit of rainfall closer to Washington, D.C., of course, post-tropical. We're not looking at anything severe, just some leftover showers in some spots. But, of course, that cleanup continues all over the regions down south. Florida, of course, had that Category 4 hurricane that hit Thursday evening. Now, for our area, though, not much going on. Just a couple of passing clouds here and there. New York City, you're looking at a little bit more thicker clouds in your area. And, of course, maybe even a few sprinkles into Jersey and some spots in Pennsylvania. Now, for our area, speaking of sprinkles, we're probably going to get a few sprinkles out there for Wednesday time frame. But overall, though, as you can see, that little drier pocket there, it does look like a few sprinkles are, of course, possible. Otherwise, though, we're not looking at any big rain events anytime soon, at least the next 5 days. And of course, those dew points will be low as well. Pretty comfortable. Right in time, maybe Friday, Saturday, we are looking at higher dew points, but overall, those still sticking around. Not too much on that muggy end, still going to be a bit more comfortable. Now for today, though, we're looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures well above average, around 10 degrees above average, around 74 degrees out there for today. For tonight, though, mid to upper 40s, clear skies. Yes, we are looking at patchy patchy fog. Once again in the forecast, just a light breeze. Now for tomorrow though, upper 60s, lots of sunshine in the area once again, just a light breeze in the forecast. Now our extended forecast outlook does show a little bit of a cooler day out there for Wednesday. A few sprinkles are possible, warming back up into those upper 60s to lower 70s Thursday and Friday.
If you've been injured in an accident, get Maine's most recognized personal injury law firm working for you today. The law offices of Joe Bornstein, fighting and winning for injured Mainers for nearly 50 years. Selected best lawyers in America for personal injury, recognized for professional excellence. With more than $500 million collected for injured Mainers and over 25,000 victories for Maine families. Call Joe for a free case evaluation and get the Bornstein Advantage.
Our country is counting on Bath Iron Works. 6,500 men and women building the most advanced naval ships in the world right here in Maine. So when extremist politicians threaten our jobs, I have to speak out. Austin-Ontario supported shutting down the government. We could have lost the Navy contract that keeps Bath Iron Works running. Austin-Ontario put his extreme agenda ahead of our jobs.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Ye Old General, located in Carmel, has everything you could ever need. Whether it be kerosene, regular or ethanol-free gasoline, wood pellets, a fresh-cooked pizza, or fried food, they've got you covered. Looking to get a stiff drink after work? Ye Old General is an agency liquor store with a great selection of alcohol. Ye Old General can help with your next home project, carrying carpentry supplies from hammers and nails to specialty nuts and bolts. They have what you need to get the job done. Stop by Ye Old General today. If you don't think they'll have it, they probably do.
When you're ready to tackle your next building project, depend on the knowledge and experience of Hammond Lumber Company. Hammond's Home Planning Center will turn your ideas into accurate conceptual drawings, and 3D visualization is available. Your Hammond sales rep will prepare a materials list and cost estimate. And when you buy all of your materials from them, Hammond will refund all of your design fees. Hammond can deliver your order from any of their 22 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner since 1953.
A family in Palermo is on a mission to raise awareness about autism and spread inclusion ahead of Halloween.
Our Doug Banks spoke with a woman spearheading these efforts and tells us and her family's story.
Halloween is a pretty big deal for us.
The colors orange and black are intertwined with Halloween, but Marissa Holland is hoping to add a new one. Last year, Holland created Project Big Blue Pumpkin. Her mission is to raise awareness of autism, one blue pumpkin and one blue bucket at a time.
I feel like if more people knew and understood and supported and showed their support, a lot more families would be excited to go out for Halloween.
Holland's two boys, Carson and Hudson, are both diagnosed with autism.
I get a lot of hey, kids, say trick or treat for your candy, and my kids don't speak. So people kind of look at us okay, why is your kid not having manners? Why is your kid not telling me, trick or treat or saying thank you?
She says having the blue buckets in trick-or-treaters' hands and placing blue pumpkins outside the front door could help bring a sense of inclusion into the Halloween spirit.
Sometimes they may be nonverbal, and that may help them with communicating with the people at their house.
There just might be kids out and about that have different needs, and that may act a little different than your traditional kid. And they're out having the time of their lives. And, it's not a night to judge. It's not a night to wonder why the kid's not saying thank you. Just let them participate and have fun and let them do it.
To learn more about Project Big Blue Pumpkin, visit foxbangor.com. Reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News, I'm Doug Banks.
A great idea.
That's a really important message. I like it. All right, well, 100 lucky Prince fans can party like it's 1999 at Airbnb's newest Purple Rain themed rental. Airbnb's Purple Rain house, located in the singer's hometown of Minneapolis, is now available for 25 total one-night stays. The house is decked out with authentic pieces from Prince's own collection, as well as purple velvet wallpaper and a vintage 80s stereo. The price to rent the iconic rock and roll house is only $7 per person, a nod to Prince's favorite number. The themed rental is hosted by two of the singer's lifelong friends and musical collaborators and comes during the 40th anniversary of the film Purple Rain. And it's absolutely beautiful
Neat.
on the inside. I mean, it's totally appropriate. This sounds like a like winning the lottery for a big Prince fan.
Yeah, my sister was one of those, just adored
Yeah.
Prince. Wonder what they do with the rest of the year. I mean, it's
I
only open
know.
25 days out of the year, you said? and
know.
For $7?
It's furnished
Yeah.
beautifully. I've not seen anything like this. I love it.
Kind of neat. All right, finally, could the humble oyster help the construction industry reduce its carbon footprint by replacing the limestone and concrete with crushed shells? Oystercrete is a bio-alternative material to traditional concrete using discarded oyster shells that are collected and then turned into this composite biomaterial. The creator was inspired to use the shells after coming across a busy oyster restaurant in London that throws away thousands of shells every day. Her early products were small interior design objects, but says she wants to eventually scale up production to create practical, large-scale oystercrete building materials.
What a fantastic way to recycle something that's just being thrown away.
Good idea.
I love it. All right, looks like we're about out of time. We hope you have a lovely day.
Have a good one, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, his motto is say yes to everything. And if you want to see just how strictly he follows that motto, check out his IMDb page. It's Matt Eisman.